George, I was about to say good morning. How are you today? But I got the feeling that if anybody asks you how you're doing, the answer is you're doing awesome, right? Good morning, George. How you doing?
What's up, George?
Good morning, fellas. It is a wonderful Tuesday here in the Bay Area. I am doing fabulous, actually. I'm doing fabulous. How are you guys today?
That's the answer we were looking for. Fabulous, fabulous. We're doing good, man. Believe it or not, we're talking about an 18-inning World Series baseball game. Does that even register on a George Kittle radar, an 18-inning, 6.5-hour World Series game?
I started watching in the bottom of the eighth. So, yes, I was up for that.
Nice. You. What was the George Kittle base? Did any baseball in George Kittle's youth?
A little bit. I will say I got distracted pretty easily in the outfield, so that I had to play catcher. Otherwise, I just got bored, and then I gave up on it after about middle school, so I could play any other sport that had a little bit more activity for me.
Now, George, I know that you're also a big hockey guy, and last night was the sports equinox, which meant we had hockey, football, baseball, and basketball all on the same time. If you had to choose one sport to watch, which sport are you watching?
I'm watching hockey.
Ooh, all right.
Now, I will say it's hard to not watch World Series baseball because it's just a great time. But you give me a great hockey game, man. It's hard to beat. I play football, so I don't watch too much football unless I know I'm about to play that team in a game the following week.
Now, we know you're a Nashville Predators fan, but you understand that right here in your backyard, something special's brewing. We got two kiddos, Macklin Celebrini and Will Smith. Are the baby Sharks getting George Kittle's attention at all?
Dude, Celebrini's hat trick the other night was fantastic.
Right?
I'm a big Celebrini fan.
Well, there you go. So maybe we can...
I'm in on this. No, this is what's tough. I'll tell you this. This is what's tough is a couple of years ago, I was talking to my buddy Phil Forsberg of the Nashville Predators. I'm like, hey man, like it's my Bay Area team. Would you be mad if I wore a San Jose Sharks jersey at a game? And he goes, oh yeah, that's totally fine. I'll just start wearing my Seattle Seahawks jersey.
Hey man, fight fire with fire, right? That's good stuff.
I was like, hey, you got me there. You got me there. Okay, I'll still be a fan. I'll be more of a Preds fan.
You don't have to rock the teal. You can just admire them from afar, but you don't have to rock the teal there. Let Phil sleep at night.
I'm a fan.
Oh, they're good stuff.
I'm a fan. I don't want to get mad at it.
Yeah, maybe they'll swing by the locker room one day or something. All right, man. Well, let's go. Hey, one more fun one. We played this on the show yesterday. Your cable car national tight ends thing with Peyton Manning. Tell us the backstory on that.
Oh, that was pretty fun. I think we did that last offseason. Peyton sent me over, hey, we want to do a national tight ends day thing. Can you meet me up in San Francisco? I was like, absolutely, Peyton. I'd love to. And it was actually really fun. I got to ride around the car a little bit. We're over just kind of by the Golden Gate Bridge, just talking ball, talking about famous tight ends, his favorite tight ends. It was a great time. I mean, anytime you can get a conversation with Peyton Manning, it's always enjoyable because that guy has a million stories and he's a fantastic storyteller. So I was just kind of sitting there more in awe, just asking random questions, see how many stories he would tell me.
George, are you ever surprised to see how much National Tight End Day has really blown up? You're doing commercials with Peyton Manning. Last year, we saw a record 16 touchdowns by tight ends on National Tight End Day. I think yesterday or this past Sunday, there was 12 or 13. It almost feels like you're almost influencing play calls from other coaches around the league, all because you're the founder of National Tight End Day.
I just sort of, I feel like a couple years ago, Matt LaFleur told me he's just going to only target Tucker Kraft on National Tight Ends Day. So anybody that had him out there in fantasy, you're welcome. That is a product of National Tight Ends Day. But yeah, it's really cool to see that. It's really fun to see tight ends around the league, just getting some recognition because majority of the time you see me, you see Kelsey, you see Dallas Goedert, and then everyone else is just kind of tight ends. You see Laporta. But then now it's like, hey, every tight end just kind of gets a little shine on that day, and I think it's really fun to see everybody's fun personalities.
Did you feel when NBC Sunday Night Football launched National Running Backs Day that they were encroaching on your territory?
Oh, I thought I sued them.
Cease and desist. Take that cape away from CMC.
Yeah, no, they showed me. I'm walking off the field, and they showed me it, and I was like, no, absolutely not. That is, they get enough attention. Yes. Everybody knows they're running back.
Yeah.
You guys need to separate.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, come on, man. Running backs, it's they're the glamour boys.
You know, and the product wasn't even that nice. You know, they was just kind of thrown together last second. Could have been better.
Yeah, it's funny, George. We actually had Christian McCaffrey on last week as our player of the week, and he said, yeah, I had no idea that it was an actual thing. Now, we know that your goal was to make him the NFC player of the week, and he did that in his return. What it's been like for you just having Christian McCaffrey back in the backfield and getting the boys back together?
I mean, first off, like, Christian's one of my really good friends, and so the fact I get to play football with him again just like kind of brings joy and happiness to me, which helps me play at a higher level. And then, I mean, you just look at his skill set, right? I mean, he does everything out of the backfield, the way that he sets up blocks, the way that he gets downhill, the way that he makes a 2-yard run into a 12-yard run, the way that he saves his yards all the time. He's just a fantastic running back. And then you look at all the stuff he does in the pass game. It's incredibly unique. There's not a lot of guys in the league doing it. I mean, he's got like 600 yards receiving and 500 yards rushing. I don't know if anybody's really touching that right now. So, yeah, he's just an absolutely incredible football player. And when the ball's in his hand, anything can happen.
Yeah, George Kittle is the voice you hear. He's our 49er Player of the Week. Nice enough to call in on a Tuesday morning. You're listening to KNBR AM and KNBR FM, San Francisco, the sports leader at Cumulus Media Station. Getting back to National Tight End Day, can you take us through the Jake Tonges touchdown? I know the game didn't work out the way you wanted, but it was kind of funny because it looked like to those of us on TV, oh, that's going to Kittle, and then whoop, Tonges snagged it. I think I read you say after the game, I read that you said after the game, it's okay because he's a tight end, or what's the breakdown from your perspective?
So I was like, it was a fake gap scheme, so I'm fake like down blocking on the backside. Luke Farrell's going to protect the gap that I'm leaving, and I'm just running back basically to the back corner, that pylon. And Jake is kind of waiting he's doing a boot slam, which is he's fake blocking, and as soon as the guy covering him triggers on the run, he goes to the flat. And we're both open. Mac throws me the ball, and Jake just has nice long arms and sticky fingers and plucked that baby right out of the air. And so my initial reaction, because, like, you know, me and Mac had that moment of where we locked eyes, the guy kind of intimate. I'm like, oh, yeah, he's going to throw me this touchdown. And then all of a sudden the hands just go up, and he plucks it. I'm like, my initial reaction was, gosh darn it. And then it's like, oh, my gosh, that was Jake. I'm totally okay with it. Because you can kind of, there's like a moment of, like, hesitation. I'm like, oh, no, we can celebrate that. It's a tight end touchdown.
All right. So
it was just a great play. I was just happy that he caught it because Mac threw the heck out of that football. It was a laser. Yeah. And I was just very happy that he caught it and didn't get tipped up or something.
Well, let's talk about that first touchdown pass from Mac Jones. Back shoulder, threw it on a dart, threaded the needle. You come down with it one-handed against the body. Like, what was going through your mind when he threw that pass? Were you even thinking that Mac was going to target you on that pass?
I was basically the only, based on their safeties, right? So if it's a single high, I'm kind of running a crossing route, but because it's split safeties, I get to take it right down the middle. And as soon as I saw the safeties and they're leaving a Mike linebacker on me, I'm like, Mac's throwing this ball no matter what. So I just got to get to the end zone to be ready to catch it. I knew that pre-snap. And it was just a beautiful ball. When he threw it, I was like, oh, that's going to be absolutely perfect. I'm self-proclaimed best body catcher in the league. A lot of people tell me I need to use my hands more, but I do a pretty good job of catching the ball with my body. Ever since Antonio Brown retired, I've taken that leadership role in the body catching league. But he put it right on the numbers. It was perfect. I didn't even see the safety until he hit me. So what a ball by Mac. And I will say, I have closed my eyes on some of those before. I did have my eyes open for that one, so that was a fun one to see and finish off.
Good admission. Sometimes the eyes are closed, and this one you saw.
Oh, dude! I mean, you go back Thursday Night Football in 2018. My one-handed across the middle. My eyes were not open for that because I thought I was gonna get knifed in half.
Well, I mean, it's a human reaction, and you're playing a tough sport, so we'll let you close your eyes, dude. That's totally
once
normal.
In a while.
Yeah, and look, it's worked out pretty well for you so far. George Kittle is our 49er Player of the Week. So you mentioned Mac Jones throwing that ball and Mac Jones throwing that touchdown. It's our chance to ask you about Mac Jones. Now, we know about you and Brock Purdy. We all know Brock's the guy. We all know Brock's the big contract guy. But we've had this experience with Mac Jones. We've had him as a Player of the Week, and he's sort of disarmingly charming. He's got a cackle that just kind of releases all the tension in the room. He's also a tough cookie. He's a tough cookie. I need the George Kittle sort of personality sketch on Mac Jones. What's it been like playing football with him, and what's that cackle do to you?
You know what I'll say about Mac is I did not know what to expect because I've never really met him or talked to him or anything like that. And the more I've gotten to know him, the more I've played with him and just been around him. He is a tight end playing quarterback. He's got an unreal sense of humor. He's funny. He connects with all the guys. He's a little goofy, which I really, really enjoy. I love going through walkthroughs with him because he has fun. Like, training camp was an absolute hoot. He's just, like, enjoying himself and kind of not messing around, but, like, having fun through the process, which I really enjoyed. And, I mean, how lucky are we to be able to sign a backup quarterback who is incredibly talented and has, won 4 games for us? Like, we're incredibly, lucky to have a guy like that. And his toughness, too, you just go back and look at the Thursday night game versus the Rams, and all the hits that he took, he just kept bouncing up, making plays. He's a good leader on the field for us, and you see his hustle, the way, totes are up. He might not be the fastest guy, but he's going to do his best to get downfield when he does. He's got all the attributes of being a really good quarterback, and we've just been really fortunate that he's on our roster.
Yeah, we've seen some of that goofiness in some of his post-game interviews where he's given an answer and then just starts cracking up laughing with that cackle. Does that ever happen, like, in the huddle, or is he a different person? Is he dead serious, or are there a couple times where maybe he's giving out a couple play calls and next thing you know, you hear that cackle?
No, you definitely hear the cackle once in a while. You hear it more in, like, walkthroughs and practice a little bit, and in the game, he flips a switch, which is really fun to see. But at the same time, like, there's a play call and he's reading it and he goes, I don't know. I think he said pylon or something like that. And we're like, yeah, that's the play. We'll go with that play. And you can just hear his cackle as we're all leaving the huddle. But, we got all the right plays in. And, I think going from, because sometimes he's reading off the wristband, that Kyle has for him. And then sometimes Kyle's calling the play in his ear, too. It goes back and forth. So I don't know how you process it. I don't know how you play a football game with Kyle Shanahan's voice in your head. But the fact that our quarterbacks can accomplish that is really incredible. I don't think I could handle it. So kudos to the QBs who can listen and read at the same time while trying to yell. Because that stadium was, definitely louder than expected.
It is definitely a quality. Cam Ward grilled the reporters in Tennessee this week about repeating a play call, and none of them could do it. So credit to all those QBs and Mac Jones doing it.
Hey, that was funny. That was funny as heck. I will say that. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
He silenced the room, George.
Some of those play calls, man. Yeah. Some of those play calls are absolutely crazy, but like the really long ones usually are ones that, like, you hear like 2 words of it, and you're like, okay, that's that really long one. I know exactly what I have.
Exactly. A few more minutes here with George Kittle, our 49er Player of the Week. It's always great to catch up with him. Since we're asking about other teammates, we mentioned Tonges earlier. That's a guy who, when we talked to you, we were down at training camp in August. We weren't talking Tonges. We were like, and all of a sudden now he had the winning catch in Seattle, which is like a gigantic part of your season. Had the catch, and he's been playing well. Give us the Jake Tonges breakdown from the George Kittle perspective.
It's fun. We got Jake back in, I think we picked him up in 2023, right after training camp. And what I like about Jake is he shows up every single day. He works. He tries to get better at things. When we first got him, I don't think he's ever walked outside zone in his entire life, really anything in the run game. And just like the strides that he's taken in the run game, I've been really impressed with, and the work that he's put in to go for that. And, when we first got him, you could tell he was a natural, receiving tight end, like natural hands, sticky fingers, has a really good awareness for guys that are covering him, the zone coverages, like he knows the soft spots. So Jake's a really, really good tight end, and he's a young tight end with a lot of upside. So, I like hanging out with Jake. He went to the Grateful Dead concert, the Sphere, with me and Bosa, McCaffrey, and Juice back in the summer. So, I got to experience that with him. We like to golf together. So Jake's a good buddy of mine, and I'm really happy for him because I like playing football with him because he has like a love for the game that you can sense from guys, and you can kind of feel it as he's playing the game too. So I think Jake's only going to get better, and hopefully we're out there more 2 tight end sets so you can see some more receiving stuff from both me and him. That'd be fun.
George, last question for me. Big picture on the players you're not playing with right now, and I know you've been asked 1,000 questions about injuries this season, but we also heard you earlier this week talk about the possible reinforcements of Brock Purdy, Ricky Pearsall, and hopefully eventually Brandon Ayuk. So what is the feeling right now in that locker room, coming off the loss this weekend, but maybe being hopeful that you guys will get those reinforcements for the second half of the season?
I think the locker room yesterday was actually, it was a disappointed, but, excited just to go to the next game. I think the whole team knows that we didn't play very well. I mean, you can watch the game, you can listen to all the cut-ups from the press conferences. No one's really happy with anybody's performance. We were a very clunky offense, and we put our defense out there the entire game. And, it's hard to expect to win with a young defense and your offense isn't putting up any points. So, and I think the offense takes responsibility for a lot of that. And, when you look at, possible reinforcements, like anytime you can add game changers back to your offense, that's a great thing. We have guys that are playing at a high level, guys that can make plays, guys that run routes well, guys that could score touchdowns, all that stuff. But anytime you can add a Ricky Pearsall, who was having a great start to his season, just cooking dudes left and right, which was really fun to watch. And then anytime you can add Brandon Ayuk, like I said on Sunday, we paid him $30 million for a reason. He's one of the only receivers that can run every single route in the route tree and also can block his tail off and be incredibly physical and allows our run game to really get to the second level, allows Christian to get up on those safeties. And so, any chance of getting him back would be a blessing. And then, I could talk about Brock Purdy all day. I'm pretty good at that. But, anytime you can get your face of the franchise and the guy who's, won a lot of games for you back in the saddle, it just instills confidence all over the team.
Yeah, it's all there for you guys. You're 5-3. You're 3-0 in the division. Is that the feeling like, hey, I know that was a tough game. I know we've had injuries, but it's all there in front of us. And those 3 NFC West wins give you guys a really good foot in the ground.
I would say McCaffrey after the game actually had a great quote. He said, the rest of the season, just feel like your backs are against the wall because that's when you have the most sense of urgency. That's when you're the most desperate. And don't feel like we have any type of lead in anything. Don't feel comfortable in anything. Just play like your backs are against the wall the rest of the season, and that's going to be the best thing for all of us. And, I totally agree with them. The hungry dog, the desperate dog, plays the fastest, the hardest, and, wants to win the most. So I think hopefully that'll be our overall team mindset moving forward and, get a bunch of hungry dogs out there on offense and hopefully just start throwing up a bunch of points.
Yeah, and that's starting this Sunday in New York as the 49ers take on the New York Giants at 10 a.m. on Sunday. Hey, last one before I let you go is how's podcast life? Congrats on you guys, you and Claire, the Kittle things. And dude, you're welcome to the broadcast life, buddy.
Hey, I appreciate I've been doing a family podcast I think since 2020 with my dad and my sister, and but this one's been pretty fun. Just to do something with Claire. It was fun too. We got basically all of our interviews done this summer because I don't really like working during the season because I already have a job that takes up a lot of my time.
Yeah.
But it's been really fun and really just talking to guests too that I would not, have an opportunity to talk to because talking to Charles Barkley was absolutely awesome for me because what a fun guy to have a conversation with. And then, we just dropped an episode with Miles Turner, the center for the Milwaukee Bucks, who played for 10 years for the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah.
And we talked about Legos for an hour, and I was like, I think I just met a new best friend because he loves Star Wars and Legos and Lord of the Rings. I was like, yeah, can we hang out? I would love to hang out with you. And he actually inspired me when I was on IR, me and some of the other IR guys, we got a bunch of Lord of the Rings Legos, and we've been building them in our spare time when we weren't traveling. So I've thoroughly been enjoying that. The podcast life has been pretty fun. And, I think, honestly, I didn't even, the edits that they come out with all of our, promotional stuff has been really fun because the group I'm working with is pretty talented.
Yeah, I saw the one where you guys did that newlywed game where you guys go for the game ball thing, and it's who leaves the party first.
Yeah, those are fun.
Yeah. Those can also lead to a little...
whatever Claire wants to win, she can win. I'll take that long.
I was going to say, those can always lead to little marital disputes too, no, that's not right, honey, And she's like, yeah, it is. And you're like, yeah.
Nope, I just take I'll take an L with my wife any day of the week.
There you go, because every day's a W, George. That's why.
Exactly. And hey, look, as we're talking, I'm pulling up to Levi's Stadium. How lucky am I that this is my office?
Dude.
Goodness gracious. What a beautiful, beautiful building.
Things go well. You'll be playing there in February.
Oh, wouldn't that be a treat?
It would be a treat. So then you got to play like a hungry dog every week. That's all you got to do, and then you'll be there.
Just have the right mindset, get the boys rolling. We'll have a great time out there. I promise you that.
Well, we love talking to you, buddy. Congrats on your esteemed Player of the Week honor, and we just enjoyed the chat. Have a great Tuesday, George. Go get it.
Yeah, thanks, George.
Hey, I'm gonna have a great day today, and hopefully we have a lot more fun on Sunday.
There it is, George Kittle on the UMA guest line on the Sports Leader.